Well, I'm very excited because I have the opportunity to moderate this session, and the speakers are not small people, they are great minds, so I'm really, really happy I'm here. But before we continue, I would like us to learn something. So we actually have the slogan for Girl Up, and I think most of us do not know. So I would like to quickly say that before we move on. So when I say Girl Up, we say, when girls rise, we all rise. Girl Up.
When girls rise, we all rise.
And we can't rise whilst we are sitting. So I also say, we are all supposed to stand. So when I say girl up, you all know what you are supposed to do. Girl up.
When girls rise, we all rise.
Girl up.
Uniting girls to change the world.
Thank you very much. Please just give us a round of applause. It's Jura, Veronica Abadura is my name. And I'm very passionate about STEM education and advocacy, and I'm actually very glad to be here. So before we introduce the speakers, I would like all of us to have our books ready, our pens ready, because trust me, you are going to be inspired. So do not leave here empty-handed. You have to write something down. And as I'm introducing the speakers, when you hear something you like, for example, if I mentioned that she's an engineer and you like to be an engineer, I think you should clap. The more you clap, the more maybe the blessings will come and introduce. So please, let's all be very interactive. So I'm about to start with our very first speaker, and she goes by the name Agnes Naki Agbeton. She's an aviation engineer. She's not just an engineer, but she's an aviation engineer, breaking barriers in the aviation industry. Let's give it She's proud to be part. Please let it come proud when she says. So Ms. Agnes is proud to be part of the team that is revolutionizing healthcare access worldwide through innovative drone solutions. Agnes enjoys spending quality time with her family and also likes swimming. Please let's give a round of applause. Next, we have Dr. Justina Onuma, a senior research scientist and founder of Girl Up Ghana. Please let's give a round of applause. Dr. Justina is dedicated to empowering girls in STEM. Oh, we know clap. Next, we have Dr. Khadija Obusu. She's an award-winning junior doctor and an advocate for equality and diversity in healthcare. Finally, we have Dr. Angela Tabiru. She is an AIMS Global AI Postdoctoral Fellow at AIMS MS Ghana. Her research interests include non-commutative algebra, quantum groups, and quantum homogeneous spaces. Femme Afrique Maths is an NGO she has founded to promote African females in mathematics. So I think we all deserve a wow applause, right? Wow. Wow. Thank you very much. So a brief agenda discussion. We are supposed to start with their journeys, their individual experiences, then delve deeper to their various fields in STEM, then we give room for questions if you have some. So we are about to start. I'd like to start with Agnes since you are closer to me. So Agnes, can you please tell all of us about your journey to becoming an aviation engineer and what inspired you to venture into engineering?
Hello everyone, and thanks for the question. Can you hear me? Okay. So, my journey into aviation sustainment engineering was not that straightforward. I started just as all of you. I did science in secondary school. Then after secondary school, some way, somehow, I did a diploma in adult education. So I spent 2 years in that field. I worked a bit with it. I didn't feel like I was using, like, I didn't feel like I was reaching my usual potential. I was doing what I really wanted to do because I enjoyed science, I enjoyed maths and everything. So I chanced on a flyer about controls engineering, and I liked how, like, the content and everything. So I wanted to know more. I found out schools that do that here. I couldn't get, the closest I could get was applied electronics and systems engineering program. And so that was how I got into engineering. I did that program for 4 years and I enjoyed it. So I decided to stay in that field. I worked a bit under controls. So I worked a bit doing controls and protection at ECG. Then, for some reason, I also chanced on an advertisement at Zipline. And Zipline, the whole business idea about Zipline is innovation. Like, it's an innovative company. They are using drones to deliver supplies to people. And the whole setup was interesting, so I wanted to know more. I applied, I joined, and after I joined Zipline, I realized a lot of possibilities in technology and science because it was a novel program and it's a new technology that is being developed. We were all inspired to give our best, like everybody's idea mattered, and though these structures were already in place, but we were encouraged to also bring up our ideas. So that's where my interest. So I joined Zipline as a flight operator. Flight operations is just like you're trained on how to assemble the drone, fly the drones, recover the drone, maintenance of the drones, control the drones and stuff like that. But I developed more interest in it, and through that I grew in that field. And I took on extra responsibilities that led me into aviation sustainment. So currently what I do as an aviation sustainment engineer is to, with regards to the drone, I think when you look behind you, we have the W drone behind you. So anything regarding to that drone, any electronical, mechanical communication issues or software issues about the drone, that's where I specialize.
You actually become what you see. So in the village that I grew up, I saw that I said I needed to be a newscaster. So that was my mind. Science was never an option. Why was it not an option? It wasn't an option because I've heard things and I didn't want to plunge myself into those things. You know, we all heard things. And I want to believe that for girls of this generation, the things that we heard in our time are not the things that girls are really hearing. Because you actually have the opportunity to hear things like what we are doing now. But growing up, we heard things like this. I think we are still hearing, but ours was worse because there was no representation. So it makes you believe whatever they are saying was true. So we didn't have females. I never saw any female doctor. I never saw any. What was engineering to me? I didn't even know what engineering was. And so choosing programs, I wanted to choose programs in the arts that would give me my smooth level, so that I can go into the newscast. I'll be on TV, show my pretty face, and then yes, that's my career line. Then along the line, we're choosing programs for our STEM, for our senior high school. And then one of the teachers chose science, and the science option was the agricultural science. So it wasn't my option. I didn't even know he had chosen for me until I asked, because we were supposed to come back and complete the form. And he was like, no, so they actually look at you and then punch things in your face that, okay, this one can read arts, this one can do agri. And the teacher was actually an agricultural science teacher, so he felt like I needed to follow his line. So I went into the senior high school, and I was so bent on changing the program. No way, I wasn't going to do agricultural science. I wanted my arts. And then, unfortunately for me, they said their arts program was full, so nobody could actually switch again. Then I was stuck in agricultural science. So agricultural science here meant physics, chemistry, math, and agric. So instead of reading biology, I was reading agric. So it was full science for me. I've heard how chemistry was difficult, how math was difficult. I wasn't ready to get myself into it. But at the point then I realized that Justina, you know what, you are here. It was like I didn't have a choice. So it's either I do well or I fail. And definitely for me, failure was never an option while I was growing up. So I just said, okay, let me do this. Then I really dipped myself deeper into the field of science, and then I realized that no, the things we've actually heard is not what actually science represents. And it's like, if you don't have people to really show us the way and handhold us, I really like that word, hand-holding people to say that, look, you can do it. It's actually difficult for the girl child to dream beyond it. So all along growing up, I've always been mentoring in fields. Sometimes not just thinking about STEM, but like just normal career fields I've been mentoring. Just to kind of put myself out that I want to be, I've always wanted to be like, I want to be an example to people. So living my life, I'm very careful with the choices I make, the things I show people, especially on social media. Because I know that somebody's watching and my life can be an example to them. So I've been mentoring on various STEM initiatives for some time now. I was one of the list and signed for ambassador for Ghana. That was between 2019 and 2022. So beyond that, then I asked myself, what next? You know. So I said, okay, it's time to have an initiative of my own. So having things with girls has always been something that I do, but like having an initiative is quite different than serving on other initiatives. So in 2022, I returned from the Mandela Washington Fellowship Program. They were supposed to have a project, so we needed to have like a focus project. And focus project means when you return, you have to do something. I was like, okay, this is a good opportunity for me to actually hone what I really want to do. So yes, then I started the idea. I didn't even know the name that I was going to give to the name. I knew that it was going to be girls in STEM. So one day I was just sitting, trying to get a name, then Girl Up just dropped in my mind. I was like, okay, I'm not going to change this. So I just did a few checks online. So I didn't see any organization that was called Girl Up. And I went to the Registrar General portal to check whether any organization was registered. There wasn't none. I was like, okay, bingo. It was later I saw Girl Up actually. And it was too late to change the name. So yeah, so that is how the journey has been. And with Girl Up, what we actually do, we actually focus on mentorship. So we have these girls paired up to various mentors that they organize mentorship events. We also have capacity building events. We also partner, I think IoT is here, right? So we also partner with IoT and GH Scientific, like other organizations who have the tools to show them what science is. So beyond the rhetoric, beyond talking to them, inspiring them, they need to also see and practice what science is to get them excited. So apart from the mentorship, we also show them these things, have science fairs to build their capacity. And for me, I think it's been a journey of about, we're almost 2 years now. And I like what I'm seeing, not even for the interest in STEM, but their confidence has even changed. These girls wouldn't even answer questions when we started, but now they boldly ask questions, And I like how they express themselves without fear. Like the story I told you, for instance, not to please me that, okay, because you are mentoring our system, we have to make you know that we like that thing. But then also on them, So I really like how confident they become over time. And I'm really sure and believing that in the near future we'll have a lot of them building up careers in lines that they know that they are capable of. It's for STEM, but it's also for the fact that even if you are not interested in STEM, we can guide you to your interest. So it's not as if we are boxing everybody into the STEM field, but to guide them to make the right choice so that in the future they will not be like, this is not what I really imagined myself to be. Thank you.
So when Dr. Justina was speaking, she made mention of the fact that her teachers actually selected a course for her. I'm sure most of you are in the same situation, so don't think it's their fault. Maybe it's God's plan for you. You never know. So moving on to Dr. Khadija, can you please share with us your experience as a junior doctor and how you navigated the healthcare industry as a woman of color.
Oh, what a question. I guess first of all, I have to establish that I live based in the United Kingdom, so my experiences would probably not apply in the Ghanaian context. But yes, my name is Dr. Owusu. Born and raised in the UK, so I work as a doctor in the UK. I've been working as a doctor for the past 2.5 years. And your question was what it's like to be a doctor. I would say, I guess going from the beginning, I have always known that I loved science. In school, it was my favorite subject, especially biology and maths. And then I also had a knack for, I guess, wanting to help others. When it came to, students or some of my friends in the class who were very shy and couldn't speak up for themselves, I found myself in a position of, okay, I want to make sure that I voice your opinion for you. So I was seeking leadership positions right from when I was in secondary school, and paired that with the science. I was like, maybe medicine, the doctor career is for me. But I also have a personal reason. So my younger brother, any of you ladies heard of sickle cell anemia? If you've heard of sickle cell, raise your hand. Anybody want to share what sickle cell is? Feel free. Raise your hand. Don't be shy.
I went out to like
Oh.
So I can see that sickle cell anemia is a condition whereby the red blood cells, let me say, they form into a sickle shape, not like the normal concave shape. So, like oxygen cannot, work.
Can everyone clap for her? She is exactly right. So normally your red blood cells, I'm giving a small lecture now, please forgive me. Normally your red blood cells are round shaped and they carry the oxygen in our body for us to, stay alive. But for sickle cell patients, it's shaped like a moon or a crescent or a sickle shape. So they struggle to carry as much oxygen as normal, and because of the shape of their red blood cells, it can get stuck in their joints, in different places in their body, which leads to painful crises. If it gets stuck in the brain or in the heart, or in the brain, it can lead to a stroke. In the heart, it can lead to a heart attack. So those are some of the consequences of having sickle cell. But anyways, back to my point. But my brother after me has sickle cell anemia. Thank God his isn't as severe. But growing up, we were going to the hospital a lot. So I was seeing, the care that doctors were providing, and I thought, this is something that I want to do for other people. So I continued through my education, focused on the science and maths, ended up getting into medical school, thank God, 6 years in the university, and I graduated in 2021. Now in the UK, obviously it's not the same as Ghana where everybody is Ghanaian. In the UK it's very diverse, let's say. You have white people, you have Indians, you have Asian people, you have black people, and with black people you have Ghanaian, you have Nigerian, you have German, everywhere, okay? But what we found is in the UK, there are not a lot of individuals that look like us who are doctors to help, I guess, treat issues like sickle cell, which only affect us. So we see that we need more advocates, we need young black people, we need young black students to become doctors. And because of the lack of diversity, it makes navigating healthcare or being a doctor a bit more difficult. So with that, I guess, challenge, I set up an organization called Millennium Medics with a few other friends, and we help young students who want to become doctors who are African and Caribbean get into medical school and also navigate the challenges along the way as you climb the career ladder. So just to summarize, being a person of color, being black in medicine has its challenges. Now add being a woman on top. Normally, when you see a doctor, you think it's going to be a man, right? On TV, you've been seeing male doctors, but I think nowadays the narrative is changing. We're doing very well. But still, even when I go to the hospital, when I go to work, people be like, oh, nurse, can you get the doctor? they will automatically assume you're the nurse or the healthcare assistant or maybe the cleaner. People still think, oh, if she's a woman and if she's black, she's probably the cleaner or the nurse. So it's about changing that narrative. We're slowly getting there, but again, you have to, I guess, correct individuals who think that way and say, actually, I'm the doctor treating you today, so how can I be of help, or what is the issue that you've come to see us with? So, yeah.
So from what Doug said, I think we'd all learn that we should try to change the narrative, because from what she has been saying, she's trying in her little ways to actually change the narrative, and I think it's working. So I think she deserves an round of applause. I need to Angela, and personally I'm actually intrigued because I saw mathematics all over, and I was like, wow, that's her focus. So firstly, why mathematics? And secondly, how are you able to explain these concepts, complex mathematical concepts, to secondary school girls, in the girls in mathematical science program at AIU Ghana?
Thank you very much. Hello, everyone. Let's have some energy in the room. Hello, everyone. Hi. So I'm Dr. Atiri. I'm not a medical doctor. I have a PhD in mathematics. Okay, so just to emphasize that you can be a doctor and not be in the medical field, but there are doctors everywhere. Yeah, so back to mathematics. I was excited when I saw that my girls students. I'm actually a good girl of mathematics. Yes, I don't want you to calculate my age, so I'll tell you how many years I was at Accra. So I always say this every time on my journey before I get to myself. I'm a business student turned scientist. Right? I started as a business student at Accra, studying accounting, business management, probably because my sister studied business in secondary school, so that was what I saw. Now I came to the university, also highlighting this point. I remember Agnes mentioned that, sometimes you want to, life takes you to places where you didn't anticipate to go, right? I wanted to come to the business school here at the University of Ghana, but I ended up with my second choice, which was mathematics and economics. I was a bit sad then, because back then, people in the business school would rub it in your face, right? Business school, UGBS, right? Read those in the past, it was like, yeah, second choice, right? But after a while, I realized, wow, in school I was good at maths. I won't lie. I could score almost 100%. Even when I didn't score 100, I'll be wondering, hey, the teacher was having me this thing. So when I started with maths at the university, it was more of following what I naturally could do well. But maths at the university was different from senior high school. It needed more analytical thinking, problem solving. So I was going through maths at the University of Ghana here, and I didn't know what I could do with maths, because growing up, we think of maths as something that only teachers could teach, right? We couldn't think of other careers you could pursue. So in third year, our head of department, who was a female, she wanted me to major in mathematics, and I was good at maths, so she wanted me to major. But I said, what will I do with maths? So let me keep my options open, so I combined it with economics. And I graduated with the first class in mathematics and economics. But I still didn't know what to do with maths. I was a teaching assistant here for 2 years. And one of my mentors told me there was a new institute which was opening in Ghana. It was called African Institute for Mathematical Sciences. It provides postgraduate training for Africans from all across the world, fully funded. So I said, okay, I didn't know what I wanted to do, so I could give it a try. So I went to Ames, and at Ames, when you come from a place where you're a top student and you go somewhere where all Africans champions are there, you realize, okay, they are champions and they are champions of champions. So I went to Ames, and it was an eye-opening experience for me, because at Ames, we didn't run the usual university model where you had semesters. At Ames, we had our lecturers volunteering from all across the world. They came to teach a semester course in 3 weeks. Okay, so getting a semester course in 3 weeks. So it was very intense. and it's residential, so you live there 24 hours, you are studying maths, you sleep, you are thinking maths, wake up thinking maths, they give you food, everything, your stipend and everything. And for me at age, it was more of discovering more maths. What can I do with maths? So I learned more maths, still not knowing what to do with maths. So I graduated also still top of my class and still wondering what I do. Then one of my mentors, Uni, he said, okay, there was this international center in Italy where I could do a 1-year postgraduate program and see what next. So I went to Italy, my first time abroad. Coming from Ghana, there was a cultural shock, right? You go to a place where most people don't look like you don't understand the language, culturally things are different. Yeah, so let me say this for jokes. So on the bus one day, we saw 2 people kissing on the bus, and for me, it was like, ooh, in Ghana, you don't see people kissing on the streets, right? So it was a very big cultural shock for me, but also it was challenging academically. So you come as a top student from Africa, but you go to the global stage and you realize there's something more you could do. So I struggled a bit, still not knowing how to navigate, but through the support of people, I realized, okay, I needed to put in more efforts. And I asked myself, what next after this? So there was this opening for a scholarship. So I'm saying this because we are all women here. So this scholarship is for women in STEM from developing countries who wanted to pursue PhDs in STEM courses. So PhD is, okay, you finish your undergrad, you do your master's. PhD is a doctor of philosophy in a specific field. Why was this so? This organization called Shumbeje was supporting women because, for me, growing up, my first and only female maths teacher was at the university in 3rd year. We don't see a lot of us in spaces. I'm sure you are all surprised to see us here in this STEM. You hardly see them growing up. If I ask you, how many of you have had female maths teachers? I'm sure it will be very few of you, right? So Shumbeje was trying to change this narrative, and which has been highlighted very much here today. That sometimes when you don't see something, it's hard for you to dream to become it. But imagine walking into your university lecture. So our MC was saying that all her lectures, she had only one female, right? Imagine if she had more females, it would make you dream to become the quantity surveyor that she is, right? So it's trying to change this narrative. We want to train at top universities abroad, come back with our expertise, and to change the narrative. I'm sure you leave here today knowing that, oh, there's a female maths doctor that you have seen who is doing amazing. Then it also changes your narrative that if I love maths, I can become this. So I applied for this funding. And for me, studying in the UK was a lifelong dream, right? As a Ghanaian who speaks English, the US and the UK are 2 places you dream of going because there's no language barrier. So I remember that day I was sitting in the library studying and the email came and I read it. There's a way you read an email. You read, you scroll down in the notifications and you read the first few lines and see whether it's a positive or negative message. So I saw it and it was positive. And for me, I cried that day because for me it was a dream come true. Studying in the UK is very expensive. For a PhD for 4 years is very expensive. So I went to the University of Glasgow in the UK to pursue a PhD in mathematics. There, it was also another challenge. We see very few people in Ghana studying maths, but you go abroad and it's similar. So in my PhD cohort, for instance, I was the only female and the only black. So yeah, so it was very challenging when you have, when you have a female colleague, you can easily discuss your assignments together, but then males, they will do this, and I'll sit in my room alone trying to figure it all out. But of course, there were other forms of support systems. So I graduated in 2019. And for me, I have gotten this total education, not just the maths, but I have acquired a lot of skills in the UK and asked myself, what do I do with all these skills? Do I sit back and find a job in the UK or come back to Ghana to change the narrative? It's something that I've been passionate about, women and girls. So I said, okay, maybe it's time to come back to Ghana. So I came back to Ghana. Some people thought it wasn't the best decision, right? You like the UK with better systems, but for me it was more about the impact. So I came back to Ames, and I got a job at Ames, and we started a new thing, which I'm happy to share with you because I see some of our alumni here. So in Glasgow, we used to have program for high school students. So on Saturdays, we will have what we call master classes. Now, when you think of maths, I'm sure you think of very abstract things, right? The divide, the x, the find x, right? Find x and all those weird things. But what's surprising is that there's maths all around us, right? So let's talk about YouTube, right? This morning when we were playing the music to dance, right? YouTube has a selection of videos. When you finish watching a YouTube video, there's a suggestion of what next to watch, right? What algorithm does it use to give you the suggestion, right? There's some maths all around it, right? Let's talk about, let's say you want to tile this room, right? And you know that the size of one tile is one meter by 1 meter, and you know the size of the room. It tells you how many tiles you need to do it, right? So these master classes had people talking about their research for you to see that there's maths in different places. So I've gotten this experience in the UK, but I wanted to bring it here to Ghana. So together with my bosses, we applied to the Get Fund for funding, which we used to start a Girls in Mathematical Sciences program. Now, what is this program? So it's for high school girls like you, right? When I was in high school, I loved maths, but there was no program that I could get in which could mentor me, right? Imagine if in secondary school you knew that you wanted to become a mathematician. It guides you in terms of what universities go to, what courses to do. But this program is for high school girls like you. It's fully funded. Now, when you apply and come to the program, we give you a laptop, we give you an internet device, and on Saturdays, we meet you online for master classes. So today at 1 o'clock, 1 to 3, we have an online master class. And our speaker is from the University of Cambridge. She's a Ghanaian like us who also went through the AIDS, but she's now pursuing a PhD there. Now, these master classes are to show you that there's maths in different places, but we also give each of our students a mentor. And I love it when Jacinta highlighted the fact that it's important that we give girls mentors because it guides you in your decisions. I didn't know what I wanted to do, but if I had a mentor who could guide me from a young age, that, oh, okay, Angela, you could do so much with maths. I could have specialized in maths and done quite well. So each of our girls is given a mentor, and when they graduate from school, they come to our campus and we do more maths. So think of crazy maths, but we also have fun, right? So we dance, we go for excursions and all that. And our goal is that we want to create this pipeline of young girls in Ghana who are passionate about maths, but who will be nurtured to win international awards. Who have heard about the Nobel laureate? Who have heard about the Nobel laureate in science? Oh, you haven't heard about the Nobel laureate? Okay, so it'll be an assignment to write about the Nobel laureate. So it's given to people who have made outstanding contributions to their various areas. So our goal is that we want to train these girls to be the ones who are winning our awards with it. And I'm excited to see two of our alumni in the crowd. So Dorcas and Edith can give them a wave. So they are currently here at the University of Ghana, studying physics and business administration. And if you'd like to chat with them about it, but we want to change the narrative and see more girls pursuing courses in the mathematical science. I'll pause here then so we continue. Thank you.
So, as an aviation engineer, what would you say are some key challenges that you face as a woman, and also how have you been able to overcome them?
So, this is surprising. We all know, okay, engineering is heavily dominated by men and stuff like that, yes. So, in my field, yes, I'll say the same thing. But it takes you being determined, right, and just focus on the end goal, what you actually want to do. And sometimes, most of the time, you might not have it all figured out. But at least you know what you want, you know where you want to see yourself. So in this sense, like, as I mentioned earlier, when I joined Zipline, I joined as a flight operator. So it wasn't that, yes, we do aviation stuff and all that, but I had to build an interest and go to the right people to find out and learn more it's had to be people sometimes, like most of them men, and you have to ask. Sometimes the person might be open and let you know, but sometimes too. And also, another thing is our company is
I waited until she finally slept. Application, and for that application, I needed to do a video to talk about my vision to be a leader, why I needed to be on the program, and how the program will help improve me, and what I will do afterwards. And the day I did that video was really a very chaotic day. So that day I have a 2.5-year-old daughter. She was on mid-term, so she was home. My baby was also very young, and imagine a lot of chaos at home, and I needed that small time to record this video. I waited until she finally slept. She usually doesn't sleep in the afternoon, so when she slept, then I went to hide somewhere in the bedroom, and I took my phone and I recorded that video. And for me, it was more following my passion also. You know, sometimes as mothers, right, when we become mothers, we focus so much on our children, our husbands, and we forget that we also have lives that we lived before we got married. So I applied in February. I got an email, those kind of emails, you read it everything, or said, oh, congratulations, I've been awarded the Fuel Science Grant. So the Commonwealth Foundation is in Germany. If you have read some history of Germany, they used to be Eastern and Western Germany, right? And there was this wall that separated them. And I got to which year, right? In a certain year, they broke that wall so that they could all become one people. So that's where the name of the foundation came. So Falling Off Walls Foundation is in Berlin, and they have this female science talents program where they look for, as the name suggests, right? They look for science talents from all across the world, and you take them through mentoring. And these are talents who are leaders, right? Leaders in their own field. And I was glad to be one of 20 female science talents selected from 15 countries worldwide to be on this program. Now, so as I mentioned, this program is also a mentoring program. As scientists, we need to acquire certain skills that will enhance our science. I was a question we talked about how do I explain my research to secondary school students for them to understand. So from last Wednesday till Friday, we're going through science communication workshops. So my research is very abstract in algebra, but in a minute I can explain it to you. Think of addition, right? Addition is 2 plus 1 is the same as 3 plus 2. Do we all agree? 2 plus 1, is it the same as 3 plus 2? The order in which you do addition, does it matter? No, right? If I put 2 here, 3 add, or if I put 3 and 2 and I add, will the answer be the same? What about subtraction? 2 minus 3, is it the same as 3 minus 2? No, right? So 1 will give you what? Positive 1, and 1 will give you what? Negative 1. So so addition, the order doesn't matter, so we say it is commutative. Okay, the order doesn't matter. But subtraction, the order matters, so we say it's non-commutative. So my research is an abstract version of non-commutativity. So this training, for instance, was to train us as scientists. How do we convey our research to the general public? My mom doesn't do maths, and I should be able to explain my research to her. You are Signal High School students, I should be able to train you. So the Falling Walls Foundation Female Science Talents has training for us in these fields, but it's also going to give us mentors. So I'm here as I'm an academic manager now. I've risen a bit through, but I also want to get to the top, right? And it takes people at the top who will mentor you to get there. So I'm also going to be given a leader in education who is going to mentor me. If you want to become a leader, so I work with AIDS, right? If I want to become the next president of AIDS, what does it take? It's not just your maths that you need, right? There are certain skills. So the Falling Walls Foundation Female Science Talent is to mentor us in these places for us to be able to cause change in our own field. Thank you.
So sadly, we are done with our panel discussion. However, I think we should have some questions. So the center will lead the question session.
Please, are we still in the room? Please, let's start for our panelists. I think they are quiet because you've been buried in so much information and so much inspiration. Don't they deserve a wow? Okay, so let's go. Wow. 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 Perfect. It's been one long session and my book is full. Like, I think I've left it a page. But I don't know, it got to a point I was like, okay, I have to start using shorthand because the information just keeps flowing. And I'm like, okay, this sentence is a PowerPoint, let me get that down. The next sentence is also PowerPoint. So at this point, I had a whole book full of PowerPoint. It's no longer a PowerPoint any longer. So, one thing that stood out among everyone's presentation is the power to show up, right? Because all of them got to where they were because they showed up regardless of their fear, anxiety, doubts, confusion. Another thing is, every one of them confesses it's difficult. Like, young doctor, they got to a point, the words weren't coming to like, and we all laugh because she has used different descriptions. Like, it's not giving the vibe she wants. So, learning from all these statements, right, we've seen the importance of courage. Based on this, I have some exciting reward. And when I say something, you know I mean it. I want to see how many of us have questions for them. Answer. You don't have any questions? Okay. I'll say my name to back home. Okay, I can see some hands. So 2 groups of people are going to go home with rewards. The panelists get to ask 4 questions, each of them. Whoever gets the answer will get an award. Secondly, we'll have 2 sets of questions from the crowd. Just 2 people. So the first 2 to raise their hands when I come down here, I'll ask them and then you also get their reward. So which one should we have first? The questions from the panelists or theirs? Okay, I think from here. So first 2, who wants to ask a question? First 2. Okay, 1, 2. Okay.
When Dr. Angela said, she said when she went, when they are speaking their language, she can't get it. So how is she able to do what she wanted to do? So that's my question.
Yeah, he said do that for me. You see, the reward has started coming in. Those of you who didn't see. Okay, thank you. So, very good question. So, even though I was studying in Italy and the people around me spoke Italian, the center was an international center, so the program was in English. So, which highlights that you should learn your English very well. In countries in Europe and other places whose first languages are not English, most of their master's program and postgraduate programs are in English. So, learn your English very well. It will make you it makes it easy for you to study everywhere. So even though outside people spoke Italian, in the institute, English was the language. Thank you very much, Dr. Angela. Please tell me that. So just understand, if you are in Ghana and English is difficult for you, imagine when you go to where there's no. So yeah, please study your English very well. Second question, very quickly.
Was there a point during your journey where you thought that this is the end, I have to stop?
Who is this question directed to?
Anyone.
Any of you? Okay. So I think I'll give the panelists 30 seconds of reflection. Who has gone through that and then what they did? So, anyone ready? Okay.
So, I did my PhD just here, so at ESET. So this is my home actually. My office was just there. And the PhD process, usually we say that it's a lonely journey. I never understood it at all. I got to a point. Then I asked myself, I'm going to cry my head. No, you don't say. I'm right now. Look, it will get to a point you'll be squeezed by. But the good thing is that you have to remind yourself why you started any journey. That's why I said it's never easy. Like, nobody ever told you this journey was going to be easy. If you have of your mind, your expectations will be lowered, so then you can actually embrace yourself when the journey gets tougher. But it's doable. Nothing is not. Everything is doable, actually.
Please let's give it up. And I can totally relate, right? I think most of us will be going to the university very soon, right? You started considering what course exactly you want to do. And for Mary Teresa to ask this question, I don't know. She might be speaking the minds of our half of the people here that they are learning the physics like F4, the chemistry too. You know the state of like everything just hitting you back to back. You know the sad news is it doesn't get easier. Honestly, I won't stand here in this area. And like Dr. Justina was saying, I personally get to a point and I ask myself like, who sent you? Like you are complaining that you are getting overwhelmed. But who sent you? But you turn back and you reflect and you see that you've come so far and there are so many lives dependent on yours. You might not see it now, but whatever path you are on right now, there are so many girls tomorrow looking at you. The women of this generation have that burden, right? It's unfortunate, but we have that burden as women to excel at whatever we do because we can't fail the generation of women coming. Because I think it's the first time women are given this much platform and the world is practically waiting for you to make a mistake. Yeah. So please don't fail the ladies community. Let's give it up for ourselves. Okay, so now questions from the panelists. Okay, I'll go first. So one of the questions which we didn't get to address was, in what ways can we better support you? I want to hear from you. What ways can we better support you as girls in STEM in our educational system? In what ways can we better support you in our educational system? Things have changed from when I was in school. So yes, in what ways can we support? What do you want, in short? What do you want? Maybe one each. I see one. Okay, let's start from there.
Okay, so one way of, I'll say that we need to get us exposed to more of these movements and equipping us. Thank you.
Please, as a science student, we need equipment in our lab, and some of the female science teachers, for me, I do understand the male teachers though, but I feel like if there are female teachers in this, I'll be able to understand whatever they teach us.
Please clap for him. By the time they are being yes, I'm going to be having bags of gifts and I'm going to even what they brought, we'll take it from them. Okay, next question. Okay.
Maybe one because that's those things form as an appreciation.
Okay, so rather unfortunately, the rest of you going to answer this question, no gifts, right? Now you tell us, we want it. The gift that will come from this is bigger than the gift we are giving you.
So in the science school, like in senior high school, it's like whatever we learn is more theoretical. We don't get to practice it. So when we meet up for STEM programs, when we go back to school, we cannot see STEM like technology, we can't see it. So I think we need to be more exposed. Like everything should be practical.
Please clap for her.
I think we need a complete change in our education system.
How and what can change?
Okay, in the classroom like this, I can't ask questions because I am really shy. So I think we should be free to speak up more.
Okay. Please clap for her. So she's saying that she wants to find ways to be more confident. She sees that there is a need to be confident, but she doesn't know how. So maybe our system should have those things so it can be.
Actually, this is my first time getting exposed to virtuous ladies who are at the top. And I think that getting more contact with them can actually broaden my horizon on the path that I should take and the decisions that I should take.
Okay. Yeah.
get mentors who are out there, especially the women, so that they can guide us on the path. Because sometimes you are having a course and you get somewhere you are like, I have to stop. Because right, we were solving a maths question in the class and the formula was too much. Until we were able to solve an example before I was able to understand. So if there are mentors or teachers who are able to, we can open up to them, I think that would help.
Please let's give that. I think to get frustrating that from JHS we've been finding eggs and we still not found who eggs is.
So I was expecting anyone to talk about emotional support, but it wasn't. So I think our leaders providing students with emotional support in high schools or at these events is going to be great for us. It's very important. I'm not in high school, and from high school, being intimidated by your teachers, it shuts us down. It lessens our ability to be able to explore. So I think providing emotional support is going to be
Perfect. Please start for yourself. Like, you honestly don't know how much feedback or how great your feedback is. I'm overwhelmed myself. I wasn't expecting such submissions, quite honestly. So, any other question from any of the panelists? Yes,
Just a very honest question. Do we overwhelm you?
do you understand what like? Is it too much? Seeing all these women here with all
Like
their ambitions,
all these initiatives, promoting them. Are we forcing you to something that you don't really want? Very honest question.
It's not like they're forcing us, but it's like it's putting more pressure on us. For example, someone has a PhD in mathematics.
It should inspire you. I call it positive pressure. And I like giving myself positive pressure. I always want to, get people ahead, to push I always give myself pressure, honestly. And that's about exposing myself to people who are already there. It gives me positive pressure. So let it give you positive inspiration. Like it should be positive pressure, not pressure that will demoralize you. Okay. Any other?
anyone else? Who are these people? Yeah.
I would like to see myself one day at this position and then seeing that other women have done it to this extent really encourages that one day I can make it. Like I can really make it.
Thank you.
Please clap for him. Fatima, so Fatima, 5-10 years from now, we really want to hear your story, right? Okay. Anyone else? Last submission. Anyone apart from him? Because it's already speaking. Anyone else from here? Okay. Anyone again? Okay.
So I think it's not overall, but it's rather inspirational. Because from all what you've told us, it's like putting hard work, and then we also like to see ourselves in your position right now. So there are doctors, there are engineers, and most of us over here want to be doctors. So right now I'm looking up to Dr. Khadija Owusu. It's what you've told us. I really want to be like her. Thank you.
You become what you see, right? It's just happening already. Okay, last question. Anyone? Okay, Dr. Khadija.
I don't have a question. I don't necessarily have a question, but I just have a message for the ladies. And it relates to what you mentioned about emotional support. Sometimes we forget that we are actually human ourselves, that we also feel, that we also think. And, when it comes to health, we always only think about physical health. Maybe when we've fallen down, we've broken our leg, or we are bleeding or whatever, that's when maybe we need somebody to save us. But your mental health is just as important. And making sure that you take care of your mental health right from the get-go will really do you justice as you grow up and things get tougher. We say that, it's gonna get much more difficult as you grow up. You go to university, you graduate, you start working. The challenges will continue to come. But as you grow and you build that, tactics to take care of yourself mentally, to be able to cope with stress, and when you're feeling down, you will be able to withstand some of the pressures that society and the world will just slap right in front of you, left, right, center, okay? So, my advice is for all you ladies to keep going. You will have days where you wake up and you're like, I cannot be bothered. Oh, do my homework, crowd, not do. Reply to a message, I will do. I will just want to be in bed and shut myself away from the world. That is completely normal. And especially as women, as young girls, our hormones are doing jiggly, 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 jiggly with our menstrual cycle and everything. It's completely okay. Just make sure that the next day you wake up and you realize, okay, yesterday I had a day off, but today I'm going to try my best to do better than I did yesterday. It could be you did 1% more, it could be that you did 50% more, or you did 100% more. As long as you did better than yesterday, you can pat yourself on the back and say you did a good job for the day, okay? So I just want to leave that message with you guys, to take care of yourself mentally, because it's very, very important. We see a lot of young people having depression, anxiety. Some end up losing their lives because of the pressures that the world gives them and they are unable to cope. It is a very serious thing. So if you come across any, mental health resources available, we'll try and make some available at Accra, I'm sure through our various initiatives as well, that you ladies can tap into. At the moment, we're catering to the university students, but we will try our best to reach out to you ladies to take care of us.
Thank you very much, Dr. And just to add my 2 cents to that, I want to let you understand that you don't have to do it all alone. All these people sitting here trying, this is the end result. But then at every point in time, they had someone they had to tell to talk to. Don't feel like you are the superhero lady and it's your time, you have to do it. No. When you get burnt out, like you don't have the energy to move, I wouldn't say talk to your parents, I wouldn't say talk to your friends. Look around and see who is the best person you can speak to. And please do speak to them, because sometimes all you need is someone to just listen to you, okay? Okay, Dr. Agnes, please. Agnes, sorry. Our last question. And the first people to raise their hands, your reward is assured.
I don't think it's a question. It's rather like an advice that you don't need to have it all figured out, right? You don't need to, because at this stage, sometimes we feel so pressured. When you see us here, sometimes you feel, as you mentioned, you feel pressured or something. You don't need to have it all figured out. But that's where mentorship also comes in. At least you should have an idea what we can all say to one way or the other. We might not have it all figured out, like we might not know what we want to do next, but it's all about you taking the one step at a time. So whatever you want to do, if it's in science, if it's in tech, if it's in engineering, mathematics, don't make it, like, don't be afraid. You have mentors, you have us here, anyone that you can reach out to encourage you, to talk to you about these things. Just make sure that you're reaching out to the right person and getting the right information to help you navigate through your path. But don't, as she said, don't go through this alone. And if anything, just as we have advised you, I'll also say, maybe, do you have any advice for us?
Anyone? Anything you want them to also take? Going home?
Yes.
Any hands? Anyone brief? Okay.
I just want to tell them that they should continue doing what you are doing. Because I was really inspired by Dr. Justina's story. Because in my area, like, it's kind of a rural area, kind of. So I thought people from that area, they wouldn't be able to make it like how you're doing it. But when I heard your story, I'm like, yeah, I can make it. So continue with that. So
Interesting. I was really wondering what they have for you, but it looks like they actually do have something.
Oh, I'm actually inspired
how they stood up against all odds to achieve their dreams, even though there have been challenges around, but they still persisted to achieve their dreams. I'm very inspired. And also one thing I have a question to ask is that sometimes we have the dream, but then you don't have the connection to like the person. Like, I want to do something, I want to venture into engineering. You know people around who can help you, but how to get access to them is really a challenge. So I think I want to teach.
Thank you very much. Anyone wants to handle that?
This is an area that I'm also very passionate about because I get a lot of DMs. And what annoys me the most is they're high and disappear. Hello.
Good morning.
And you disappear. Hello, what do you want me to do? Do you get? So the best way there's various ways. If you come across an individual in person, like some of the ladies here today, you can introduce yourself. Hi, your name is XYZ, you're interested in this. I find you encouraging, or I like that you do this. I want to talk to you, I have this question, how can we keep in touch? That's fine. Another way is social media. Maybe you guys might not be of the age of, creating LinkedIn profiles. As you get older into university, that's something that you will start to build a professional profile for yourselves. On social media, if you follow an individual, you can send them a message, but the message shouldn't just be hi and you disappear. The same message or the same speech you would give to somebody in person, just type it out. Hi, my name is Khadija. I really look up to you. I find you very inspiring, especially, when I watch this video of yours, or how you do this, or, the way you run Girl Up or Akaya. And I find it very encouraging. I have these questions, or I want to help volunteer, or I want you to perhaps mentor me, or maybe we can have a meeting or something like that. Give the full story so that when we see it, we know exactly who you are, what you want, and what you're trying to achieve. That is a message that I will most likely open and want to respond to, because you sound like an encouraging person that truly wants to receive the help and elevate yourself. And another thing is, when we look for mentors, we always try to see it as a relationship of, let's just take. But you ladies also have value too. How can you help us as well? There's been examples where some mentors have told me, mentees will come up to them and say, I want you to mentor me, but in exchange, maybe I can help manage your social media account. Maybe when you go to programs, I can help record you for your social media. Different ways that you can help assist, so that you get a broader picture of what it's like to fulfill that role that the person has, or the one that you achieve or aspire to be. I don't know if anybody else has a life.
Thank you very much. I also add to what you said. So we now have internet all around us, right? When I was in high school, we had a computer lab, but I don't think we had Wi-Fi very often. Research. Now, you've seen someone who is probably an engineer you want to follow. Very often the person probably has a LinkedIn profile, a Twitter account. Follow them, see how they got to where they go. Their YouTube channels, we talk about people's stories, right? People are interviewed all around us, talking about their journeys. Personally, I do interviews of mass tweets, but watch them. Read. Okay, so you don't need to know them personally to know how they got there, but once you read about them on the internet, you watch a video about them, it tells you, okay, from here, I can go here, I can get this scholarship, I can do this. You don't need to know them personally to do that. So let's make good use of the internet. Okay, there are positives and there are negatives. Make good use of the internet. I have people I follow who didn't know me, but I really love what they were doing. I follow them, like them, share what they are doing, and then later on they come and view my profile and they also follow me back. Right? So you should be intentional about the people that you read about and follow. That will guide you on what to do. I don't know if anyone else has something to add.
Great. So that brings us to the end of the panel session. Let's give them a wild clap, please. So let's go.